Come with me. Hey guys, so that's the topic. The topic is about me today. So in the that's me in the background with the shorts that I posted today. So um, you guys take a second to look at it. So I posted a video yesterday where I was talking about hi. I was talking about this Nigerian lady. It's a video that went viral where this Nigerian lady proposed to a guy and the guy rejected her pretty much. She was an older lady that was dating a younger guy and she got rejected. Like she got on one knee and proposed. Um and she was rejected pretty much. Hi Nadia. So after the whole thing, after I posted the video, I started getting comments telling me the reason why my ex that I was with for about 6 to 7 years didn't marry me is because of my character. So that's where that came from. So it's just funny that, and there was comments from men saying how women are quick to cry about, oh, somebody didn't marry me, this and that, but guys get rejected all the time. So it got me thinking for the topic of the day, to talk about the reason if you're a guy and you propose to a woman and they said no, what was the reason they said no? Hi. What was what are some reasons why people reject being proposed to, or they say no to proposals? I'm curious. You could type in your comments down below because I was getting different comments. I posted the same video on TikTok and I started getting comments telling me the reason my ex did not want to marry me is because of my character. Something was going on with my character. And so I just want to hear from you guys. I hope you guys are not too young where you could talk about it, but very curious, especially the women out there who said no to a proposal. What were your reasons for that? So a couple years ago, I told this story before, but I'll repeat myself again. I was with someone for about 6 to 7 years. And then I pretty much called off everything and I said I was leaving because the relationship was not going anywhere. So I posted the video, talking about my experience, how later on I met my husband now. And I started getting a lot of comments, people telling me that the reason that the guy did not want to marry me is because I had some character. It's like I had a character issue. And so I'm just really curious to hear what are some reasons why some men don't marry women after they've been together for so long. Because this video went viral that I'm talking about, and this lady pretty much got on one knee, and the guy left her there. The guy said that she was too old, and the guy had been using her pretty much. She was paying all his school fees and everything in Nigeria, and the guy just was like, no, I don't want to marry you. And so embarrassed her and everything like that. And people were like, oh, women are always like, oh my gosh, crying and crying because they got rejected. But when it's the other way around, like they say no to men all the time, saying no that they don't want to get married. So it got me to this whole topic where I started getting comments like that, where I'm being told that the reason that relationship pretty much did not work out is because I had some issues. with myself, and that's the reason why my ex never wanted to propose to me. And that is the farthest thing from the truth, because that's not what happened. That is not what happened. I left the relationship because it wasn't serving me, wasn't going anywhere. When somebody tries to control you and tries to tell you how to live your life, that's a problem. And sometimes you hold on thinking that things are gonna get better, and they didn't. Things were not getting better, so I decided to leave. And the funniest thing is that this same person, the ex from years ago, decided to stalk me on Snapchat a couple months ago. So if it was my character issue, I don't know why he was trying to stalk me on Snapchat. It wouldn't make sense, right? If he wanted nothing to do with me and he didn't want to marry me, why was he stalking me a couple months ago on my Snapchat, knowing well that I'm married? I've been married for the past 8 years. Why would you stalk somebody that you didn't want to marry? That's somebody that had a character flaw that you don't want to be with. So, sometimes people are in the comments saying all this stuff, but they don't look at the real story of what really happened. Because if I was that bad of a person, the reason why you didn't want to marry me, then, oh my, why would you be following me and trying to find me and making comments like our son now that I have with my husband was supposed to be yours? How does that comment come in if it's a character flaw that I had? You know what I mean? So that's social media for you. You post something and people want to start, commenting on, talking about, oh, he didn't want to marry you because of your character. This is a lot of men, by the way. It was men commenting, and how women are so quick to say, oh, he wasted my time for 6 years, 7 years. He didn't want to marry me, blah, blah, blah. But when it's men, getting rejected, oh, it's not a big deal. I'm like, it's a big deal. If my son one day, gets older and he marries a girl and he asks to propose to her and she says no, I would ask him, like, what happened? What issues are you guys having? Like, why did she say no? Because at some point, it's a big deal. It's not something where you say, well, only women get to complain about it, So I just started really feeling like it's people don't know the whole story. Just because somebody posts something, it doesn't mean that you know the whole story. So it really kind of made me feel some kind of way this morning when I saw my comment. It's like, you don't know what happened in the relationship and the reason why I left after 6 years. You don't know what was going on, So for people to be making comments talking about this and that, and that's the reason, you have no idea what happened. And I did post a video sharing my story of some parts of what happened in the relationship and why I left. And it pops back up that it had something to do with me. When a relationship falls apart, it takes two people. It's two people. Sometimes there's a lot of going on between two people. And it's not just to blame one person and say, oh, it was your fault. It was you who did this and did that. No, you don't know what happened. So that whole comment just left me kind of feeling like it's just amazing to place the blame on one person. When I straight up told people when I was posting the video that I started feeling like I was being controlled. And I didn't like that. When you're with somebody, you're supposed to enjoy being with someone. You're not supposed to feel like a little kid being scolded and somebody has conditions for you. And if things are not going the way they want, they have a problem with you. Praying for what sins are you praying for? Please get out of here with that mess. Please do not come on my page with that. So that was the whole thing that I wanted to talk about. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to talk about your thoughts about why do some women reject proposals from men, and why is it and the other way around. Hi Jesse. Hello. I'm not a sinner, so please get out of here. I thought I blocked you. Why are you still on my page? Okay, oh, thank you. So that's the topic of the day. If you guys want to chime in. Thank you for the flowers, the hearts. Yeah, so that was my thing. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that is so sweet. So yeah, if somebody you have a character flaw and somebody doesn't want to marry you, they shouldn't be stalking you on social media 8 years later after you got married to somebody else. So maybe it wasn't me after all. The grass is not green on the other side, maybe. So now you're trying to come back, maybe, just maybe, because if it was all me, then there's no need to be bothering and trying to get my attention Oh, thank you. Yeah, I changed my hair a little. Yeah, I added like more. It's a different style, like more it almost looks blonde at the ends. Oh, hi flat blad. Yes, yes. So when I realized that I wasn't happy, I started feeling like the relationship was weighing me down. I felt like I was trying to change myself to be okay for this person, and it just wasn't enough. So at some point, I just one day when I was at work and I just called the person. I told them that hey, it's not working for me. So for people to come on my page telling me that he didn't want to marry me, that's why Oh, your birthday's coming up. Oh, that is so cool. To people to tell me like, oh, it's because you was something with your character. I mean, no, it wasn't my character. It was the relationship was not working out for both of us. You know, for both of us because I started feeling a lot of stress. I started feeling like I was being weighed down. I started feeling like I tried to change for somebody, and they kept putting more conditions of, well, if you do this, if you have your career, when I finish school, blah 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 blah. Like it was just that. Like literally, my husband met me within the first 2 months, and he already knew he was gonna marry me, and we were done. That was it. He didn't have to say, well, once you get to have this better job, once you get to get into fitness programs and all that, once you start doing this and this, I'll marry you. No, he saw me, he liked what he saw, he was happy with me, and he was like, yeah, you definitely are gonna be my wife, and it was that simple. So when people put conditions on when they'll marry you, if that's a problem, and if you're the woman who has to bring that up, you're the one bringing up marriage, that's a problem because most guys know early on whether or not they want to marry you. So for me, it was just like it wasn't anything to think about with my husband. Now it wasn't anything. He just already knew. So I would never try to defend my character because nobody knows you really on the internet like that. So I'm not gonna come here trying to say that my character is this and that. I'm not gonna defend myself. But for people to leave me comments telling me it was your issue, you're the one with the problem, that's why he didn't want to marry you. No, it wasn't. That wasn't the problem. It was a two-way thing. It wasn't working for both of us. But then later on, for somebody to come on here and try to stalk me, why are you trying to stalk me all of a sudden? Now that I've been married for how many years, you want to stalk me? So that says a lot, you know? So, yeah, I understand that. I understand that, the people always say that, like block and delete and move on. But there's some things that are just like, you just don't even want to, I don't know how to say it. Like, it just gets under your skin to a certain point, because it's like you have to try to defend yourself for something that they don't even know the story. And that's how I'm feeling right now. Like the comment kind of had me looking like, did you not listen to the part where I said I felt like it was being controlling and I no longer was happy and it wasn't working? Why wait until you get married and have a divorce when you can just leave the relationship when you can? You know what I mean? So it was, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I guess to a certain you're right. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I was curious to hear from men like but I don't see a lot of men on my things anyway. But to hear why would you not marry a woman after being with them for a couple of years? I was really curious to hear that because this happens a lot where men don't propose with the person they're with and then they leave and all of a sudden they're having kids and they get married right away. So it's almost like saying, oh, I guess the other person was the problem, you know, and something is wrong with that person. That's why you moved on so quickly or what. And then some of them actually come back and they beg and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I did this and I'm sorry, like I want us to get back together, after they go out there and start whole families and everything. So for me, it's like people don't know the story. um I said I would never, try to defend my character. I refuse to, for people that don't know me, really. But it was just really interesting that, and a lot of men are like, oh, when it's done to women, when women are rejected and not proposed to, all of a sudden everybody's crying about it. I wasn't crying about that. I was telling a story to relate to this lady that was left there on her knees, pretty much proposing to the guy, and the guy just left her there. And people are like, well, that's what she gets for, buying him everything and doing all this stuff for her. It was a video that went viral, And I was reacting to it, just thinking how I felt like I wasted 6 years kind of thinking that things would get to a certain point, and it never did. So that was the whole how this whole thing started. So me, I was responding, doing a reaction kind of to the story. I don't know if you guys have seen the story, but it's online. If you type like uh somebody a woman dates for 7 years and something with marriage, it will pop up on YouTube. You guys can watch it. But it was really sad. Like, she gets on her knees and she's over there, and there's a crowd of people waiting, and people are like, say yes, and the other guy's like, no, 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 don't say yes, leave her. And the guy says, oh, it's because she's an older woman. I guess she was younger and she's in her 40s, so they told her like, she's an older woman, you shouldn't marry her. And it's like, oh, after 7 years you were telling her you loved her and you wanted to marry her because you were getting support from her. She was supporting the guy to go to school, and all of a sudden, he didn't want her. You know, behind the scenes he was telling her everything, but now he's like, I don't want to marry her. She's too old. So it just kind of speaks volumes too, because how do you all of a sudden this person is too old for you, but they were not old enough. They were not old when you were with them for 7 years, and they were supporting you, and you had a place to live, but now they're too old. You don't want to marry them. That's really where that came, and it was just really embarrassing to watch. And she's just like, I don't understand what happened with the guy. Why did he do this to me? And she's just crying. So I started comparing. I said I also was in a situation where I thought I would be getting married and having kids and all that, and then the person goes, the person was just not giving me that, and so I just decided to leave. You know, and I think it was the best decision I made, because right after, like, that's how I met my husband. So pretty much, and everything happened really, really quick and smooth. And then 8 years later, like, I'm so happy now that I'm just like, whoa, thank God I made that choice and left, because I would have been stuck there just waiting for something. And I was like 20, I think I was like 26, 27 at the time. I'm in my 40s now, so you know, so that's where that story came about. Yeah, but yeah, okay. So that's just what I wanted to talk about. So if you guys want to chime in, but yeah, you're right. I mean, sometimes you don't have to worry about strangers, commenting stuff that they don't know. But I did post a video sharing why I left the relationship. If you guys want to watch that video, it's on my page. And how things went down, kind of. So that was the thing. So that's why I put there. I did a shorts. Um, so that was the shorts for that I posted. And yeah, but I also wanted to remind you ladies out there who are single, like, if somebody's not giving you what you want and you're clear on that, like, you want marriage, don't even discuss that with them. Don't say, oh, you better marry me, and beg them. No, you don't need to do that. You just pack your bags. If they're not bringing up that, just pack your bags and leave. You can definitely find the person you're meant to be with just by doing that. The grass might be greener on the other side. Because for me, I didn't realize, like, once I did that, the amount of good things that came to my life it's so amazing. And it's just for me deciding, like, hey, I'm walking away. Yeah, I don't wish him bad. Honestly, I don't wish him anything bad. I never wish people badly, unless you really, 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 really do something, like, you hurt my kid or something like that. But most of the time, I was like, you know what? I told him, I said, I hope you meet the person that you want, because he had mentioned that he liked white women and Asian women, and I said, I hope you meet that white woman or Russian woman that you want, because I definitely am not white. you know, and making comments like, "Oh, my son now that I have with my husband, he was like, oh, that should have been mine." And I'm like, well, if you wanted it, you would, right? If you really wanted a kid with me, you had 6 years to do it. We had 6 years, so you could have fixed all of that. But to make comments later after somebody leaves, it's like, what are you trying to say? Yeah, but I don't wish him bad. I honestly did. But I felt like for him stalking me a couple months ago on Snapchat, that says that maybe things are not so great. Because if you're busy with your new woman or things are so perfect, why are you on my page on Snapchat? What are you trying to, why are you, like, on every story that I posted? Like, I would think life is so much better now. Things are so great. Why are you on my page? So that's what I started realizing. Maybe things are not going so well for him, and he's not meeting the rush. Yeah, you think so? Maybe he's angry. You think? Because that's what I was like. If you're happy, like, I'm not out there looking for him because I am happy with my husband. I'm happy with my man over here. We're busy raising our child. Like, we don't have, you know what I mean? So I'm like, it's weird. I just didn't understand it. Somebody said that too. They were like, oh, maybe he's trying to have some revenge or something. And I was like, for what? I didn't do anything to him. Yeah, yeah. And my husband, I told my husband when the thing was happening, I'm like, why is he stalking me? He's literally he was on every story. I had to delete my whole account because he kept watching everything I posted. And I just deleted the whole account because I was like, so my husband was like, oh, maybe he wants you back. Like, and I think he was upset a little bit. And I'm like, no, I don't want anything to do with him. I've not spoken to him in 8 years. What, you know? I just didn't understand it. It was the weirdest thing. It came out of nowhere. Like, I didn't expect it at all. I was like, wait, I know that name. So I kept looking every day, monitoring, and he kept popping up. And so I tried to report his account. I tried to delete it. I tried to block it. Nothing. So I just deleted my whole account. Yeah, I think so. You're right. Yeah, they didn't see it. They didn't see it coming because the way I called him that day, that time that I was at work, and I just told him, this is not working for me. I'm tired of feeling weighed down. Those were like my exact words. I said, I'm tired of getting weighed down. I'm tired of feeling like I just have this weight on my back. Like I have to do certain things, or if I don't do them, it's a problem. And you keep bringing up like discussing the type of woman you like, and I'm like, I'm not any of those women that you're describing. So that's when I was like, this is not working for me. And they were like, try to call me, try to track me down. He said he wanted to talk, and I left. I blocked everything, and I just left. And he was trying everything to update me, like on the people that he knew that we both knew. He was trying to update me on and telling me how they're doing and all this stuff. He emailed me one time information that about this other people we knew, and I was like, why are you messaging me? And when I looked at my blocked contacts, the area that you have the block folder, that's when I got the message from him saying that should have been my son. And my husband was like, your son, you what? That's no. So it just started being funny because I'm literally like, this is hilarious. This is so funny. Like, what? My mom even laughed. She was like, what? He had 6 years to have a child with you. So it just became funny. Like I just laughed. I just told my husband, like, this is hilarious to me. Like, why is it that when they're playing games and doing all this stuff and they don't want to give you what you want, and then the minute, yeah, I think so. I think that's what maybe got him because he thought maybe I would come back. Because before, like sometimes I would get mad and leave. Like at the time I was living with my mom, I was in my 20s, I was in school, and sometimes I would go back and to my mom upset, like I would pack my stuff and go. So I kept doing that. Every time I got upset, sometimes I would leave and just pack my stuff. So I think maybe he thought I would do the same thing and come back. And this time it was like, no, I just felt so great when I told him that. I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. You know, somebody should be sure about you, whether they want you or not. There should not be conditions like, if you don't do this, you don't do that. Yeah, and I did. I really did. I prayed about it. And I said, I hope you meet the person you want. And you are not, he wasn't 100% like a bad person. I told him he was motivated. He wanted life a certain way. And I said, I hope you get that. I never wished him bad. That's one of the things that I really, really didn't do. I just said, I hope you find the person that you want. And, that's all I really said. And I closed that book, So when the Snapchat thing popped up, I said, what in the world? What the heck? So sometimes it's funny, like men do this. Like you literally leave them alone and you don't bother with them because they think you're going to be chasing them. And when you don't, they're shocked. Like, oh my gosh, she actually left. She's not chasing me. So it's so funny. It was funny. I was shocked when I saw his name pop up on my Snapchat. I'm like, wait, who's that? This name looks familiar. So I Googled him, and for some reason he pops up on this company that he works for. The name popped up on Google when I searched it. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, it is my ex. I was so right. It was so weird. That's how I confirmed that it was him, because his name popped up. And somebody was like, we can tell us his name so we can do this and we can block him. And I was like, you can't, because I tried everything to block him on Snapchat. I had to delete my account. That was the only way to get rid of him. I tried everything. I reported it. I blocked it. The block would not go through. He would still pop up. So I just was like, let me delete my stuff. But yeah, if somebody's mistreating you and all that stuff, and you keep saying you're gonna leave and leave, and sometimes you don't leave, one day they're gonna be like, oh my God, they actually left. Yeah, and it sucks because you realize the grass may not be greener on that other side. It really isn't sometimes, you know? You might leave the best thing that really could have ever happened to you. And you think you're gonna get better, and then life just starts spiraling, you know? You just um you try to be at peace and all that, and it just never, you know, it never gets back to being the same. Sometimes, you know, some relationships are really great for you and some are horrible for you. Some people really can make you better and make you, you know, just make you want to, yeah, just make you want to do better sometimes, you know. And then there's people that just bring you down. They don't help with your mental stress, and you know. So that's why I tell, you know, people that are on here that are younger, I'm like, do not put yourself in a place where somebody makes you feel like you're some little kid that they're scolding you and telling you if you don't do this, if you don't do that, you know. That's not a way to live. Like, that's not how it works. You're supposed to be happy with the person you're with and do things together and laugh and do life together, you know. That's how it's supposed to be. It's never supposed to feel like it's stress. You shouldn't be stressed out because of the person you're with. That's not, it's not good, you know. You shouldn't try to change yourself so much and just to try to make them feel um you know, like you just try and try and it's like never enough. Some people are perfectionists, you know. They're type A behavior. Like, they're just want things a certain way. No matter how many times you fold the towels, it's never going to be good enough. Like, this one lady was telling me, like, she went through something where um this guy, like, I guess she was Caribbean and she was dating an African guy, and this African guy just kept just scolding everything she did. Like, oh, you didn't cook this right, you didn't do this right. And she just was like, she also left because it got to a point where it was just like, it has to be done a certain way. Like, you didn't fold the clothes right after the laundry. Like, just little things, you know. And they're just picking at it and picking at it, you know. That's somebody who doesn't want you, you know. They really don't want you. They just are picking at every little thing to kind of make you feel like, you know. So that's how I started feeling. It just felt like, you know, I love to cook. I would cook my food, you know, a certain way, and it just felt like, yeah, you can't, yeah, you really can't, because it becomes stressful, and your mental state, you start feeling like you're, you know, what is it, a crock pot where the steam is just like, so when you're around the person, you're no longer enjoying yourself, you're not comfortable. It's literally like one time the ex that I was with told me that I was loud, and I'm like, I've been loud for 6 years. I'm a loud person. I'm African. I'm loud. We are loud people. Like, okay. So I looked at him. I was like, oh, I'm loud. Okay. And I just looked at him, and I was just checking in all the things. And I'm like, one day you will never see me again. That's really where my mind was. Like, I'm gonna be out of here. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. I'm gonna be gone. So when those things, just I kept them, and I was like, okay, I'm loud. I'm loud. Okay. After 6 years, you didn't realize I was loud. My family's loud. You know. So all of a sudden, you're triggered by my loudness. You know what I mean? So everything, I was just adding up. I'm like adding up, and I'm like, okay, making my little suitcase. Every time I'm like, okay, I'm loud. I'm doing this, and then boom. And yeah, that's really it. You can't live. Yeah, you can't live like that. You find yourself just really under pressure, and you feel like you're just teetering around them. You're teetering like you can't move a certain way, and that's not a relationship. That's not how you're supposed to be comfortable with somebody. You know, like with my husband, I'm comfortable. Like, he's like, dang, you're too comfortable sometimes, you know. And I'm like, but that's how it's supposed to be. He's comfortable around me, you know. It's supposed to be that way. Like, you know, you can fart around them. It's not a big deal. um I don't know, like just do crazy stuff sometimes, and it's okay, because they say that like when kids, it's not the best example, but they say like when kids are comfortable, they do random weird stuff, and I was like, oh, that's why my kid does random weird stuff, because he's comfortable, he feels safe. When you feel safe in a relationship, you're just yourself. You're just doing what feels, if it makes you happy, you just do it. They don't, it's not like, oh, what are they gonna think? Are they gonna be like having a problem with this? No, then that's not the person for you. You want to be comfortable, just living your best life, and you just support each other, and just laugh and be silly together. And I'm saying all this because that's what I'm experiencing now. And for the past 8 years, that's how I've been. And so I know what it feels like. It's amazing. The opposite. My husband lets me do me. Like, he doesn't, he's like, okay, do whatever, if it makes you happy, as long as you're not, doing anything to, he's like, do you, like one of the things, my ex had a problem with me being on YouTube. And he knew YouTube made me happy, but he was like, oh, YouTube, like he had always had something to say about YouTube. And I'm like, I enjoy being on YouTube. I enjoy posting videos. Like, I'm not stopping, you know? Like, what is the issue? Like, I wasn't even showing him. A lot of times, if you watch my old videos, he wasn't even on it. I never showed him. So I was like posting my little fashion videos and talking about random things. That's all I was doing. I never put him in, you know, anything really. I never did. But he had a problem with that. So if somebody has a problem like with your hobbies, like, oh, this or that, maybe you might reconsider. Um, if something makes you happy and you're not harming anybody, you know, what's the big deal? Really? He also mentioned like, oh, the careers that he thought I should do. Oh, these people are doing this career, and I'm like, what about me? What makes me happy? You know? Oh, this person is doing this career. Blah, 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 blah. You should do the same thing, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. It doesn't make me happy. You know? So it was little things like that. After a while, I just whoo, I was like, this is not working for me. Um, I don't know. Just wanted to share that, guys. All right, I think I've talked a lot. Um, I'll see you guys on another video. Bye.